Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome back to our next long haul in the FSLabs Airbus A321LR. Today we are going to fly from Newark to Oslo, which is a typical sector operated by A321LRs from the US kinda northeast coast over to the European west coast. Now, really looking forward to this one, but before we start, a quick word from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that can not just do your standard IFR A to B flight, but also things like data link, things like VFR, it even includes a cabin crew simulation, then Say Intentions may just about be for you. We'll be using them throughout today's video, and if you like what you're about to see, then check them out using the link in the video description or in the pinned comment below. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into our Airbus. Now, we've got two options here. We can either fly from the captain's seat again, or we can fly from the first officer's seat, which we haven't done in quite a while on an Airbus. So let's go ahead and just do this. Now, taking a seat over here, it's 22:05 right now, and our scheduled departure is 22:50. That leaves us 45 minutes to prepare the aircraft for service, and we will absolutely need those, even if it's just for the refueling of the plane. Now, let's get started, and we are going to do the preliminary cockpit preparation here first. That's engine master levers off, mode selector on, the weather radar is set, landing gear lever down, wipers off, and we have more than 25.5 volts per battery. Let's turn on the ADRs, and then we can also do our APU fire test, which is looking excellent. And then we are going to start the APU straight away, because you can see those temperatures. It's 32 degrees outside. We absolutely need the air conditioning here, so forget about the noise, forget about the fuel that it uses. We are just going to get this thing going. Now, with this going on, let's go right into our electronic flight bag. And you will notice that something has changed in here, and that if we look into the tach log, our airplane is reset to 0 hours. And yeah, that's because the FSLabs Airbus really... what is it doing now? It really killed itself over the last night. I have no idea why, but it wouldn't load the electrical buses anymore. It wouldn't load the MCDUs. Sometimes it was just missing menus down here, and oftentimes when I kinda thought, well, let's try and see what happens, it would just crash to desktop. Now, I've solved this with a complete reinstallation of the entire aircraft, but that really meant I had to uninstall it, restart the computer, install it, restart the computer, and then it would finally work again. So that was rather annoying, to put it that way. And it's of course reset our entire aircraft's operational history, which is a bit of a pity, seeing that we have things like the MEL items and stuff like that. Now, nonetheless, even though this is a brand new aircraft, it already has a MEL item. Forward galley oven trays dirty and 2 raised and spares ordered. Okay. That's fine, can live with a dirty oven. That's not going to kill us. Now let's get into the briefing. And this is where things get a bit more interesting again. So we are starting right down here. Let's get rid of those NOTAMs and find the weather charts. Here we are. Okay, so this is what our route of flight is going to look like this night. We are departing Newark along the US East Coast, then across Goose Bay, just south of Greenland, south of Iceland, across the Faroe Islands and into Oslo. Now, the significant weather chart looks very bad, but it isn't all that bad. Only the first, well, hour and a half, I guess, over here has moderate turbulence up to flight level 400. Thereafter, things are going to be easy. On the other end side, it's quite similar. This is all low-level stuff over here, mostly icing. And then we have this small area of CBs that we got to fly past. Apart from that, beautiful weather going into Oslo, and overall very good conditions for today's flight, with those bits of turbulence ignored. Now, in terms of the airport weather, you can see Newark here, beautiful 33 degrees, a couple of clouds at the sky, and temperature, we had that. Wind westerly at 7. Now, Oslo, beautiful as well. The forecast is good as well. By the time this comes in, we'll long be in our beds already. Our alternate top is looking wonderful as well. And with that, let's get up in our plan. So An on-time departure at 22:50 means an arrival 12 minutes ahead of schedule. Our weights are not critical. Planned in flight level 330 at first, 350 later, and then going down into the fuel section. 20.1 plus 200 taxi, easy going. Let's just add a couple kilos for the APU, so 20.5, and we should be more than fine to go. Alright, so with that decided and the APU available, let's turn on the APU bleed as well to get the cabin cooled down. And then let's go down into our MCDU. Now, as per the last videos, I am using my WinWing MCDU now to control the MCDU in here. It's natively compatible with both Phoenix and FSLabs. So if you don't see my mouse moving to any of the buttons, but see the buttons moving on their own, that's because I'm using my hardware unit. Nonetheless, I will of course talk about exactly which buttons I'm pressing and about exactly what is going on there while it's happening. Okay, so let's start with the ATSU and the AOC menu init page. We'll wait for the flight number to initialize itself, and here we are, Scandinavian 908. Then let's press the init data request button, and this is sent. Now we just gotta wait a little while here, and wow, that was a quick initialization here. Okay, crew details, Captain 330 driver. Well, today we are first officer, aren't we? So, co-pilot first A330 driver, and then we'll just use Captain as a crew code for our captain, and that's fine. Alright, cool. So back to the AOC menu, OFP data. We'll use 20,500 kilos. The zero fuel weight and the scheduled departure time are looking good. We have OFP number 2, and we can send this. And this is quite important because now our refueling starts, and that is going to take a little while. So we definitely want that to start as early as possible. Next we go back into the AOC menu and to the boarding. Now this is what it's uplinked by default, and that looks quite okay to me. Now let's go on to the next page. First of all, we do need catering. Let's get that. And then, let's see, it's 20 to 12 now. We want to depart at 50. I think if we start our boarding at 25, that'll be fine. So let's say boarding 2225. Okay. In the real world, we would not be allowed to fill up our water over here. So let's say we've got 45%. Alright, and request. Now, the reason why is because it simply takes a lot of background office work to be done in order to be allowed to fill up water at outstations, and it's usually not necessary. The flights during daylight normally use up a little bit more. 45% for a night flight is going to be totally fine. Nobody will want a coffee except for the crew on our departure, and then on the arrival, many of them will not want a coffee as well. They'll more be fans of juices, stuff like that. So 45% water on a night flight long haul, no problem. So back to the AOC menu, and now let's go into the weather and ATIS. And we'll just get Newark over here, request. Now let's see, weather for Newark is good, altimeter 3008, and we do have a slot notification, CTOT 2303, which is an on-time departure. That's quite good, I'm not going to complain, 0 delay, 13 minutes taxi time, we'll see how realistic that is. Alright, so altimeter 3008, let's just dial that up. And that equals 1019 hectopascals. And that's set as well. Okay, with that, our ground services are now ongoing. So let's continue with our aircraft setup. So next up, let's do the recall. And that is looking wonderful. Nothing in here. Then we can go over to the electronic flight bag, and we did already have a look at the tech log. That is insignificant. Then let's see about our takeoff calculations. So let's take 0 wind here. We want to be conservative. Temperature 33, altimeter 3009, flex optimum of off. Takeoff weight, let's just make that 86. And we don't know about the CG yet, so I don't know. Let's just insert something. Well, this is annoying. Okay, so 25, and we'll take runway 22 right. Come on, 22 right. Interesting, only has full length. Okay, well then we need the charts first. So import Newark pin charts. Oh, it's not pin anything. Interesting. Okay, so we'll pin it manually. Okay, 22 right at whiskey. That's the one that we normally want. Well, otherwise we just have 22 left figures at whiskey, do we? Oh, here we go. Okay. So 22 right at whiskey. That's the one we're looking for. Now, why has it reset any of those numbers? Come on. Wind 0, temperature 33, altimeter 3009, takeoff weight 86, and CG is definitely not 12, something like 25. Okay, calculate. Here we go. So performance limit is 94.9 and 1 plus F 46 degrees 110 meters dot margin with some decent takeoff speeds. That's actually looking quite alright. Charts are done as well, I like it. Okay, then let's get back onto our aircraft. So the oxygen quantity is okay, hydraulic quantity is okay, oil quantity, let's fire up the FADEX. Is okay as well. Alright, flaps 1 plus F, that's because the temperature is above 30. And that agrees with the lever. The ground spoilers are retracted. Release on parking brake, alternate brake check. Only 500 psi. That's something we'll write down for the engineers. Should be able to get 1,000 out of the brakes. Okay, brakes are set again, and that's it. Catering in progress. The Legion. Okay. And it looks like catering is already completed. Very nice. Okay, so then let's start with the cockpit preparation procedure. So crew supply is on, flight recorder is on and tested. ADRS is on, and up here everything's set. Lights are on, signs remain off, and that's all set up here. Let's test our batteries. Off and on again, and ELEC. Alright, and they're charging as they should. Very good. So we'll keep the fuel pumps off for the time being, then we can do the engine fire test, which is looking good for engine number 1, and for engine number 2. That's also looking good. Okay, so we do not have any dangerous goods today or anything that would require a temperature. And up here everything's set. Wonderful. I'm getting down to the main panel. That's set. Up here everything's done. 21st of June 25. It's a dry runway. And then let's go over here. So you'll listen to VHF 1, VHF 2, and the interphone. And weather radar. Ground clutter, suppression and multiscan auto, calibrated gain, weather and turbulence. That's looking good. That's looking good. And on this side we'll make sure that we listen to something as well. Like this, but let's not kill our ears here. Turn the speaker down a bit. Okay, transponder will be on number 2 today, since we're flying from the FO seat. Altitude reporting is on, TCAS above, standby, squawk 2000, looking good. And now for the frequencies. So, clearance is 1885 and ground 1218. Like this. Okay. ATIS 134825. Is also selected. Good. Well then, let's get into the important thing, that's the MCDU. So we want the Simbri flight plan up here, and then MCDU menu, FMGC. A321-200, LEAP-1A engine, nav database is up to date, no stored waypoints. We can clear any of those scratchpad messages. And init page, Newark to Oslo, that's looking good. Scandinavian 908 is correct. Cost index 21 is correct. Cruise level 330 is correct. Okay, so departing Newark runway 22 right, Newark 5 departure, insert. Arriving in Oslo, ILS 1 right, I suppose. Adobe 3 Lima arrival, Valpo transition, insert, and then let's go ahead and cross-check our SID. So SID, Newark 5 departures, runway 22. Okay, that looks rather... Let's have a look over here. Takeoff runway 22 right. Climbing left turn on heading 190 to 2.3 dm from the ILS. Then climbing right turn heading 290, maintain 2,500 feet. Okay, so heading 219 to 420 and thereafter 220 degrees. Why does it say ILS up there? Well, let's view that on the plan mode, but yeah, it kind of looks alright, so it'll be okay. Alright, then data, next page, pilot route, that's gonna be EWR Oslo, store. Now let's cross-check this. We're departing 2 to right, Merit, Hotel Fox Delta, Papa Uniform Tango, Witch, Tops, and hoist. Then 57 north 30. That's missing. We're missing a waypoint. Okay. Then we gotta enter that manually. See guys, that's why I say it's so important that you cross-check your uplinks and don't just trust the thing manually. So it's north 5730.0 and west 50. 0.0, and that goes in here, and we'll call that thing N57W050. Okay, store, remove. So let's cross-check the tracks and distances. So from hoist to 57.5, 50, 031 degrees, 712 miles. That doesn't seem right. 276. That seems right. So 054, 276. And that's 081, 276. What? Am I like stupid right now? 06. Well, 054, 276. Why does it say 081 in here? Is that really over 20 degrees of variation? I mean, this is degrees true, but let's actually cross-check. So hoist 5750 and 5940. It looks okay. It looks okay. Okay, insert. But see, that's why we are very, very careful with those North Atlantic waypoints. Got to cross-check everything, because your entire navigation basically relies on this. Now cross-checking the coordinates again, 57.5, 50. Then we've got 59 and 40, 61, 30, 62, 20, and 62, 10. And then Ipton is at 0 west, that's good. Alright, so with that our plan is checked. So for the emergencies, EWRX, I think it's going to be 4 today. That's going to be on Newark 22 right, slash, what's the runway track? 219. Slash 25 miles and store. Pick up a holding over there. Beautiful. And again, I can only emphasize, this is what it should look like. No bloody waypoints in between or something. This is how you do this. Okay, and then immediate return to Newark if it becomes needed. Arrival, 22 left, ILS. No stop, no via. Easy. Alright, fix info. Newark 22 right, 219, and Newark X4. Like this. Beautiful. So now for the performance, let's see if we've already received any preliminary load sheet or stuff. Yes, we do. Okay, so that's 65.3. And 25.3. Like this. We ordered 20.5 tons. Then let's get the fuel figures. So, alternate 1.1, final is 1, route reserve 0.9, and taxi 0.2 is okay. Average wind component just 5 knots, really? Yeah, just 5 knots. Okay. So then, back into the plan, and let's do the step climbs. So, step outs 350 at, let's see, 61 north, 30 west, so that's going to be 6130M. Okay, and that does 0 time difference, 0 fuel difference. Lovely. Okay, insert. Just gonna keep it that way. 7 hours, 27 flight time, 3,275 miles, that's okay. 3.5 tons on arrival is good. Okay, and then let's just enter an RTA. So we expect to take off, what was it, slot 2303. Okay, and look at that, it actually can do this feature. Estimated takeoff time 2303. And now going back to the flight plan, we can see arrival at 0630, which is 10 minutes ahead of schedule. Beautiful. Of course, it should now... Okay, there is a bug involved. It should give you your departure time in magenta up here. But, hey. It's calculating it. I mean, the 420 feet at 2303 is correct. Just that time up here is still bugged. Okay, we can live with that. So let's go on to the performance. So, config 1 plus F. No, not really, huh? Why does it reset all the values again? Come on, FSLabs, that's stupid. Why do you do that? So, wind calm, temperature 33, altimeter 3009, takeoff weight 86, CG 25.3, and runway, what is it? 22 right and whiskey. Okay, calculate. And let's change the config to config 2. Calculate. Okay, conf 2, 44 degrees. So 2 at 44. And then we're looking at speeds 161, 161, 162. Like this. Right, reduction acceleration will use 1000 each. Engine out acceleration 1500. And let's see, takeoff shift is 248. Okay, so far so good. That's our FMS setup completed. Then let's get up here to the FCU. 2500 will be the initial climb. Alright, and that's our setup completed. So with all those basics out of the way, let's go ahead and start with our departure briefing. In the meantime, boarding should already have commenced. Well, we can't see anything happening here or here, unfortunately, but that's fine. And oh, look at that, they're actually loading the cargo at the same time. That is nice. And that is bugged. Of course it is. But hey. If I remember the load sheet right, we should only have cargo in the front anyway, should we? Oh well. We'll ignore that. We'll ignore that. It's fine. Alright, so let's start with our departure briefing, please. Okay, thanks. We are departing Newark, runway 22 right. Newark 5 or Liberty 5 departure, initial climb 2,500 feet, and the MSA on this one actually a little bit higher than that. It's around about 4,000 feet due to the high buildings at Manhattan. We've got no specials or anything on this one, and extra fuel and time, let's see, 13 minutes in the form of 500 kilograms. Alright. Thank you for that. Now, we have no hotspots on the taxi out. However, something that I do want to mention is that the entire airport is a little complex in my opinion. So we will take things very, very slowly if we don't know exactly where we are. Standing down here at Bravo 60, pushback probably onto Romeo Echo. And then I do expect to taxi straight out via Romeo Echo, Bravo. And that goes into Romeo over here, so we gotta be careful. If ATC clears us, for example, Bravo Sierra, we gotta make that turn off the taxiway, which is kinda counterintuitive. And then we have intersection whiskey figures so that we don't have to cross runway 29. Okay. Stop margin in case of an RTO is about 100 meters plus the TUS effect. Engine out sits straight ahead, Newark X4 and climbing 4,000, and for anything that requires an immediate return, we will be above the maximum landing weight, and we do have the overweight landing procedure. Let's just get it ready already. So documents, and then it's QRH and overweight landing. So let's just have that one ready, just in case we need it. The core point there is APU on, APU bleed on. But remember, we can only do that provided that the engines are not on fire. In general, I do want to take it straight out, sort out the issue, take our time. There is no need to return immediately or anything the likes, unless the aircraft is on fire and we can't extinguish it. But that's really the only point. Alright, apart from that, I've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. Do you see any threats for today? No? Beautiful. So that's our briefing complete. There's still refueling, so we can't do the checklists yet. Boarding is also still ongoing. But look at that. They've already completed the containers. So it should hopefully be ready very soon. Let's actually see. Connections. Services. Okay, almost finished. Looks like a couple passengers didn't show up, so just the last two of them, which should, you know, basically be completed now. So let's say hello to our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, got to do that from the captain's seat. That's the captain's task. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of Scandinavian Airlines, welcome aboard our Airbus A321LR on our flight to Oslo Gardermoen Airport. Today's flight time is calculated at about 6.5 hours. We do expect an on-time arrival, and after some initial turbulences on our way along the US East Coast, we do expect smooth arrival into our destination and a smooth Atlantic crossing. Would like to thank you very much for being our guests today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, more enjoyable, then please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming flight attendants. Finally, we are still refueling the aircraft. We do expect an on-time departure, but this may take a few minutes. So please ensure that you stay in your seats with your seat belts not fastened until the fasten seatbelt sign is turned on. Thank you very much for your attention. Once again, welcome aboard. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Okay, cool. So everything is done up here. So now it's just a matter of waiting for the refueling to complete. So let's actually fast forward this a bit, shall we? Alright, refueling is completed. We've got 2 minutes to our scheduled off-block time, so let's go ahead and hurry a little bit now. So, with the fueling completed, we can quickly send our refueling report. That's gonna be in the ATSU, AOC menu, and fuel. So, let's have a look down here. 22734, that seems correct, and, well, that should be gallons. We're in the States here, so 6006. Why is that a format error? Interesting. Let's try it this way. 6006. Okay, density 802. Well, that is of course incorrect for gallons, so there seem to be a couple issues there. But a fuel differential of 0.3 is absolutely okay, and send. Alright, cool. So that's done. Then we have our final load sheet with revisions. Okay, so if it's with revisions, then we'll just open that on the other side, because now we have a lot of typing to do. So, init, B, and we have a zero fuel rate of 64.3. Man, that's missing quite a lot. Okay, and 22.1. Alright, takeoff weight is 84.6, and what the hell? Takeoff CG 9.7? No, definitely not. There's a bug in there. 84.6 is okay. Accept that, and then let's just cheat. Let's go options, payload. So CG is 21.2. That is better. Okay, so looks like we'll have to revise our takeoff calculations. No, this is still not correct. So 0 wind, 32 degrees, 3009. Config 2 will be fixed. Takeoff weight is 84.2 and the CG is 21.2. Come on. Here we go, that's better. Right, 2 to right, whiskey, calculate. So, config 2, trim 2 up, flex 48. So, 2 / up 2 and 48. And takeoff speeds are going to be 160, 160, 161. Okay, so that's looking good. Takeoff data is checked. Everything is done down here. Lovely. Then let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. So, gear pins and covers are removed. Fuel quantity, 20,390 kilograms balanced. Seat belts. Oh. See, that's why we're doing checklists. Okay, seatbelts on ADS, nav, and Baroref QNH 3008. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright, not HLA guideline, please. Aircraft acceptance, ETOPS, PDSC checked, IBSM equipment checked, clock and GPS mode checked, HF checked, message log is... Did we do that? Checked, erased. ADSC armed, auto position reports off, IRS full alignment performed, ground speed 0, not HLA waypoints on OFP versus primary flight plan cross check, and wind data. Not sure if we did, but let's do it again. Is entered. And that's the not HLA guideline complete. Okay, good. So everything is done up here. Then let's go ahead and request our clearance. Now, in the real world, we would get that by going down into the ATSU connection notification. You just notify KUSA and then you get your clearance. Unfortunately, that's not simulated, so we could just use standard data link clearance over here, or we could just call on voice. I'm going to do the latter. Yoke delivery, Scandinavian 908, information alpha, request IFR clearance to Oslo.
I'm working on that clearance. Stand by.
Okay, he's working on it.
Scandinavian 908, cleared to Oslo. Radar vectors merit, then is filed. Climb and maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 33010 minutes after departure. Departure on 127.6. Squawk 6242. Expect runway 22 right.
Scandinavian 908 is cleared to Oslo via radar vectors to Merit, runway 22 right, initial 5,000, departure 1276, squawk 6242.
Scandinavian 908, read back correct.
Alright, so over the ground, and then let's see, runway 22 right, radar vectors, not the Newark fight, radar vectors 1276. And 5,000 feet. And finally squawk 6240.
Emmanuel, boarding has started and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Yeah, thank you. I thought boarding is finished.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard Scandinavian Airlines Flight 908, heading to Oslo. We're thrilled to have you with us today. Please take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to our friendly crew, including myself, Astrid Hansen, and my lovely colleagues Lars.
Okay, beautiful. So everything is done down here.
And just a little note. On June 28th
why
and
is
29th,
the door open again?
some of our Say Intentions cabin crew will be at the Flight Sim Expo
We'll
in
turn
Providence.
that off.
So
Now
feel free
let's
to
go
chat
ahead
with them if you see
and
them.
have a look.
Thank you for choosing Scandinavian
Connections.
Airlines and enjoy your flight.
No need for preconditioned air. Sometimes it has weird ideas. Okay, services, prepare for pushback and departure. Handling by, I don't know, Denata. Something like that. Okay, cool. So we are done with everything, are we? Then let's go for clearance. Ground from flight deck. Please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pit is installed. That's all confirmed. Okay, thank you. Can we call for pushback? Yes, sir. So, close one left. I don't know why that's open in first place. And here we go. Nice. Can we arm the doors down here? No. Okay. Well, that's fine with me. Okay. So, 1218 is correct. Newark ground Scandinavian 908, request pushback and startup.
Scandinavian 908, pushback and startup approved, tail northwest.
Push and start approved, tail northwest, Scandinavian 908. Before start checklist. Park and brake, set, takeoff speeds and thrust, V1 160, VR 160, V2 161, flex 48. Windows closed, beacon on, before start checklist complete. Okay, ground flight, push and start approved, tail northwest, park brake set. Okay, release brakes. Brake released. Thank you, starting the pushback, and we are standing by for your clearance to start the engines. And with that, here we go. I'm excited to see how the pushback is going to go. We do have a custom profile here. By the way, those windows are looking a little strange over there, aren't they? Well, we do have a custom profile, so let's see where they are going to push us. It might take a little while though.
Emmanuel, the cabin is ready for departure.
And knowing the states, we will not get clearance to start the engines until we're clear of that entire apron thing here, so...
Viet Tolkommen aboard Scandinavian Airlines Flight 908 heading to Oslo. We are thrilled to have you with us today. Please take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, do not hesitate to reach out to our friendly crew, including Lars, Ingrid and Bjorn. Oh, and just a little note, on June 28th and 29th, some of our Say Intentions cabin crew will be at the Flight Sim Expo in Providence.
Now,
so feel
this
free to
looks
chat
interesting.
With them if you see them. Now, let me introduce our captain, Emmanuel, and our first officer, Stephanie. We are flying on an Airbus 321.
What are they doing
and our
now?
estimated flight time is 7 hours and 23 minutes.
Interesting
Now,
tuck movement,
let's go over
and
some important
he's
safety information.
kicking the ramp agent
Please
away.
ensure
Oh
your
god.
seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To unfasten, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the compartment above you.
Okay, pulling
Pull
us
the mask
forward,
towards
that's already a better
you.
thing,
Place it
isn't
over
it?
your nose and mouth, and secure it with
So,
the
is there
elastic
any
band.
marked engine start point over
Remember
there?
to put your own mask on before
No.
assisting others.
Well, I guess it's probably going to pull us
We
all the
also
way
have
up
life
here.
vests located under your seats. In the event of an emergency, pull the vest out, place it over your head, and pull the straps around your waist. To inflate, pull the red tabs. If you need to deflate, simply blow into the tube. In the event of an evacuation, please leave your luggage behind. Your safety is our priority.
Okay,
As for
so
the
starting
emergency
engines,
exits,
1 and 2
we
in
have
that
2 in the
sequence.
front, 2 over the wings, and 2 at the rear of the aircraft.
Engine 1
Please
start.
take a moment to locate your nearest exit, which may be behind you.
And it
Thank
looks
you
like
for
the
your
pushback is
attention.
already
We hope you
complete.
have a pleasant flight.
Second brakes. Okay, we have a good start in engine 1, starting engine 2. Clear 2. The tuck is going. And number 2 is starting. So, did they just run over the ramp agent again? Man, that is a very tedious job here. Okay, clear signal received. I do hope those GSX ramp agents get some decent surcharge for the danger at their job. Alright, 2 good engine starts, clear disconnect, clear sign left, have a good day, bye now. So, 2 units. Here we go. We'll keep both packs, it's just too hot outside. After start checklist. Anti-ice, off, ecom status, checked, pitch trim. That's 21.5%. Rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist complete. Scandinavian 908, request taxi to runway 22 right, able intersection whiskey.
Scandinavian 908, runway 18 left is not available. Taxi to runway 22 right via Romeo Echo, Bravo, Romeo Mike.
Taxi to runway 22 right via Romeo Echo, Bravo, Romeo Mike, Scandinavian 908. Well, that is what we requested, isn't it? Okay, so Romeo Echo straight ahead, Bravo, and they say Romeo and Mike. Okay, well, we'll see. We might have to recalculate that, but should be fine. Okay, clear left side, clear right side. Let's go. Brake check. Pressure 0. Okay, we're clear left, and no one's coming from the right. Oh, Bravo, Romeo, Mike. Okay, pretty much exactly the taxi routing that we've been expecting. I hate that disconnect button simulation. Okay, let's try that again. I think we stopped early enough that I can still take the turn. Here we go, that's better. Okay, now we can take the turn. So, flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Okay, no changes to the takeoff briefing. Hello, Emmanuel in the flight deck.
Hello, it's Norman. Let's see cabin secure for takeoff.
Danke.
Thank you.
Okay, looking good. Scandinavian 908, request intersection whiskey.
Scandinavian 908, taxi to runway 22 right via intersection whiskey approved.
Intersection whiskey approved, Scandinavian 908. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Now we've got exactly what we wanted. Taxi checklist. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, config 2, radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto. Engine mode selector, norm, ECA memo, takeoff, no blue. Taxi checklist, complete. And then we're almost at the tower. So, tower frequency 18.3. Newark Tower, Scandinavian 908, ready for departure.
Scandinavian 908, Newark Liberty International Airport Tower, runway 22 right, winds 220 at 5. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 2 to right, flight runway heading, cleared for takeoff, Scandinavian 908. Okay. So, we are clear on the approach. Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
Approaching runways.
Yep. Okay, lineup checklist. Takeoff runway. It's 2 to right from Whiskey. TCAS, Tara, PAX 1 and 2, off, lineup checklist complete. Okay, flight runway heading. We'll just pre-select the runway heading once we're actually on the runway.
On runway 22 right.
Okay, so runway heading is pre-selected. Are you ready? Takeoff. stabilized. Manflex 48, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Knots. Check. P1 rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Okay, full heading. Heading. Okay, autopilot 1.
Scandinavian 908, contact departure.
Contact departure, Scandinavian 908. Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1. Newark departure, Scandinavian 908, passing 2,000, climbing 5,000.
Scandinavian 908, Newark departure, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 270, turn left heading 050, vectors to Merritt, then own navigation.
Climb maintain level 270, left heading 050, vectors to Merritt, Scandinavian 908. Okay. Flap 0. Speed checked, flap 0. So, 27,000 blue.
Scandinavian 908, contact New York approach on 125.7.
125.7, Scandinavian 908. New York approach, Scandinavian 908, passing 4,000, climbing level 270, turning heading 050.
Scandinavian 908, New York departure. Good evening, Newark. Altimeter 30.03.
3003, Scandinavian 908. Okay, set QNH. QNH, thrust check passing 5.5 now. Okay, the direction is roughly okay. I just totally love the rate of climb we're getting out of this plane. Look at that, 3,500 feet a minute. So not used to that from long-haul Airbuses. Alright, it might get a little bit turbulent now. Wasn't there someone on TCAS a moment ago? Well, seems like he's vanished. Okay, so let's see. Estimated time of arrival 0636. That's on time. I like that. 3.4 is very good when we don't need to do anything with our speeds or with our cost index. Very good. Okay, passing 10,000. Lights remain on since we're in the States.
We are now at a safe altitude. And
United 962, contact Boston Center on 134.0.
Clear and copy.
And just a little
Switching to
reminder,
Boston Center on 134.0, see United 962.
Thank you for choosing Scandinavian Airlines, and have a wonderful
Okay,
flight.
cruising 330, optimum 325, maximum 355. That is very good. So, just 3,197.5 miles to run. Easy going. Well, my friends, then sit back, relax, enjoy the flight, and we'll get back to you.
Scandinavian 908, climb and maintain flight level 290.
Climb and maintain flight level 290, Scandinavian 908.
Scandinavian 9008, contact Oslo approach on 118.48.
118.48, Scandinavian 9008. Alright, let's do what he said. That's gonna be 118.48. Oslo approach, Scandinavian 908, passing 12,800, descending 5,000.
Scandinavian 908, Oslo approach identified. Good morning, expect the ILS runway 19 right approach into Oslo.
Scandinavian 908, is runway 19 left available?
Scandinavian 908, runway 19 left is available for landing.
Thank you. Request runway 19 left, Scandinavian 908. See guys, the first officer can learn.
Scandinavian 908, runway 19 left approved.
Alright, so we're close to approaching 10,000 and we are now expecting the ILS approach runway 19 left. Let's see if we can maybe even get a shortcut from air traffic control. Scandinavian 908, any chance to proceed direct Bavat? Direct to Bavat, Scandinavian 908, thank you. Okay, that is making life easy. So, direct to Bavat, here we go. Now we're descending to 5,000, we are somewhat below the profile, but the airplane is going to fix that. What are you doing with the speed? Come on, 250, no more. Alright, so let's take a moment to talk about the approach that we've planned into Oslo. It's an ILS approach, runway 19 left, and we do have that just up here. So from
Nordic
Bavat
5707, climb and maintain flight level 200.
The approach starts in 3,500. Looking down here, SIFTA,
Climbing to flight level 200, Nordic 5707.
3-degree glide, which is checked, and the missed approach straight at 3D Golf Mike Echo.
Nordic 1050, contact Polaris Control on 118.88.
On track 102, climb 3000.
Switching to Polaris Control on 118.88, Nordic 1050.
Okay, and that's all we got about this. Now we're passing 10,000 again, so let's manage that speed, and the altitude is managed anyway. Lovely. Thrust idle. Well, then let's do our 10,000 foot checks. Lights on, signs on, constraints,
Captain,
LS.
cabin is ready.
Thank you. So, GPS primary,
Ladies
high
and
accuracy,
gentlemen,
mode
we are
selector
now on our
norm.
final approach into
Very good.
Oslo.
Then let's
Please turn off your
move over
electronic
to the left
devices
seat to
and
start the
stow them
approach
until we
briefing.
arrive at the gate. Kindly put your tray tables away. Ensure your
So, it
seats
will be an
are in
ILS
their full
approach from
upright
a 19
position.
left, radar
And
vector,
fasten your
minimum
seatbelts.
876,
Our
go around
friendly
straight at 3 miles,
Scandinavian
left
airline
turn
staff will
until
provide you with information
13.5
regarding your
miles,
connection flights
3,000
once we are
first,
on the ground.
5,000 thereafter,
Thank you for your
and extra
cooperation.
fuel and time, we've got 35 minutes, 1,400 kilograms. Alright, flight director guided, config full approach, idle reverse, auto brake low, vacate the runway to the right hand side. Nothing special, nothing non-standard, more than enough stop margin. No, you keep descending. And that's about all there is. Do you have any questions on our briefing? No? Lovely. So then, let's see, we've done pretty much everything we had to do, except for the approach checklist, so let's do that now. Barrel reference, QNH 1018, seatbelts on, minimum, barrel 876, auto brake, low, engine start selector, norm, approach checklist complete. Lovely. So things are going pretty well. It's beautiful terrain outside. Even though I have no idea where that snow comes from. I mean, it's 19 degrees down there. But yeah, we'll
Nordic 8 Alpha Golf, climb and maintain flight level 240.
Lands that we find around Oslo.
Up to flight level 240, Nordic 8 Alpha Golf.
Alright, since there is
Nordic
no weather
1050
anyway,
contact, Sweden control on 128.055.
Even though we are leaving the hilly sides right now,
Switching to Sweden control on 128.055 to Nordic 1050.
Okay, approaching the glide slope here already, and after Barbad we proceed to Ostpot. Actually, is there a clearance limit over here? No. IAF, yeah, fine. And just to be sure, 19 left, minimum should be 882. Why did we enter something different?
Scandinavian 908, descend altitude 4000, turn right heading 130 vectors for the visual runway 19 left approach.
Scandinavian 908, descend 4000, turn right heading 130 vectors visual 19 left. Speed, vertical speed heading.
Scandinavian 908, turn right heading 145.
Scandinavian 908, right heading 145. Okay, heading 145.
Scandinavian 908, 11 miles from the approach turn. Turn right heading 165, descend altitude 3000 until established. Cleared for the visual runway 19 left approach.
Turn right heading 165, descend 3000 until established. Cleared visual 19 left. Scandinavian 908.
Scandinavian 908, turn right heading 145.
What? No, we're cleared for the approach. We'll just commence the approach, I don't care. Okay, so let's clean this up. Oslo 19 left, radial in, insert, nav, I disagree. Heading. Okay, approach phase is active. We're cleared for the visual. Looks like we're intercepting 3000 just about here. Yeah, we might need to expedite the descent a little bit. I'll tell you what. Thruster low descent heading. And some speed brake. Ooh, that is a lot of speed brake. Okay. Then we'll do just half to get the VLS down, otherwise the airplane's not going to decelerate.
Scandinavian 908, contact Oslo Tower on 118.305.
118.305, Scandinavian 908. Oslo Tower, good morning, Scandinavian 908, visual 19 left. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Scandinavian 908, Oslo Tower, winds 145 at 10, runway 19 left, cleared to land.
19 left, cleared to land, Scandinavian 908. Okay, so we'll take over ourselves, fly direct us off, bird on.
Scandinavian 908, winds 150 at 11, runway 19 left, cleared to land.
19 left, cleared to land, Scandinavian 908. So, we have the runway in sight, so we can descend below 3000. I'll be using the ILS just as a backup over here. Okay, the cabin called as well. Hi, Manuel.
Yep, that's the cabin secure.
Nordic 4 Charlie
Thank
Whiskey,
you.
winds 145 at 10, runway 19 right,
Silence.
cleared for takeoff.
Okay, speed
19
brakes
right,
coming
cleared
back
for takeoff,
in.
Nordic 4 Charlie Whiskey.
So we're at 6 miles, flaps 2. Speed check, flaps 2, and now watch what the pitch is going to do. It should automatically pitch it down somewhat to correct for the change in lift. It should absolutely not start a climb like this. Definitely some bug involved here. Alright, gear down. Silence. So I just wanted to show you this. Got a little bit high in profile, but that's a price I'm willing to pay here. Okay, go around altitude 3000 is set. Flaps 3. And flaps full. Speed checked. Flaps full. Alright, and now let's focus on flying again. So, landing checklist, ECAM memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. So we're in VMC, that means we can use the 500-foot gauge. We've got to be stabilized at 1,200 feet on the radio, on the barometric altimeter.
Approaching 19 left.
Okay, wonderful. Let's make sure to maintain the center line.
above.
Tracked.
Minimum.
Continue.
Nordic 4 Charlie Whiskey, contact departure.
Over to departure, Nordic 4 Charlie Whiskey.
50, 40, 20, retard 10.
That touchdown sound is so incredibly bad. Okay. Spoilers. Reverse green, brake low. 17 knots. Manual brakes.
Scandinavian 908, welcome to Oslo. Contact ground on 121.905.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
121.905, Scandinavian 908.
Scandinavian Airlines Flight 908. We hope you enjoyed your journey with us today. Did you know that Oslo is home to the world's first ski jump, Holmenkollen?
Gardermoen ground, Scandinavian 908, request taxi to gate 51.
Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. The local time here is 8:27 a.m. Captain Emmanuel, First Officer Stephanie, and
Scandinavian 908, taxi to East Apron, stand 51 via Bravo 4 Tango, Lima Center. Good day.
Taxi stand 51 via Bravo 4, Tango, Lima, Scandinavian 908. Okay, Tango is over here. Alright. So that landing was a lot better than it sounded, wasn't it? Okay, so start APU please. After landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear. Off.
Nordic 396 request pushback.
Nordic 396, pushback approved.
Pushback and start approved. Nordic 396.
Alright then, welcome back. That was our first eastbound transatlantic crossing in the A321LR by FSLabs. I sure hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know which one you want me to fly next. I do kind of like that Scandinavian livery here, so it might very well turn out to be one of them. So, let's see. Connection. Services. So, Lima is coming up, and he wants us on Lima Center. APU available. And we're going to Terminal 1. This is probably the east pier, I guess. So, East Pier. 5-1. No follow me. And handling by Scandinavia. Good, and here we are, gate 5-1. So, lights off.
Nordic 396
so,
ready to taxi.
Nordic 396, taxi to runway 19 right via Charlie. Charlie 3, cross runway 19 right, then Alpha 7, November.
19 right via Charlie. Charlie 3, cross runway 19 right, then Alpha 7, November. Nordic 396. Scandinavian 62 November, ready for push and start.
Scandinavian 62 November, pushback
Shutdown 1. Shutdown 2.
Pushback approved. Scandinavian 62
Coming to
November.
all doors in park. Alright, both engines are running down. Doors are disarmed. Parking checklist, please. Parking brake or trucks. Brake set, engines off, wing light off, fuel pumps off, parking checklist complete. Okay, so Squawk 2000 and standby. So that's done. Let's check our fuel. 17.1, and we should have used, well, 17.5, but we saved quite a bit on the approach, so I think this looks absolutely reasonable within 500 kilos of the target fuel. Okay then, so ground power, well, let's go ahead and grab one ourselves. Options, external controls, chocks connect, GPU connect. So, 360 degrees on the brakes. So let's release the park and brake now that we've got the chocks in position. And external power is connected as well. 14 degrees, then we can turn off the APU. And let's secure that airplane. Of course, we have to wait until everyone's out before we can turn off the emergency exit lights, but doesn't really matter. So, services, request deboarding. And they're only connecting the jetway now. Oh, how wonderful. Okay, doesn't matter. My friends, that's it. So, we already turned the IRSs off, that's why we're getting invalid, that's fine. Nonetheless, my friends, I do hope you all have enjoyed the flight. We're gonna leave the brake fan off here, because of the way how the brake fan works. The brakes wear down a little bit quicker when the fan is used, so it's easier to do without the brake fan. For the time being though, thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your feedback in the comments underneath, and in the meantime, if you really like what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link below. If you liked today's ATC, check out Say Intentions AI. And last but not least, if you want to support the channel without any commitments, just leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to see you guys again on the next one.